Hey, good morning, Giants, and welcome back. So today is our last lesson before Thanksgiving. So hope you guys have a relaxing break. Next week, then we have one more chapter or one more section that we're going to cover on either Monday or Tuesday, and then Wednesday or Thursday will be a day where we'll do some review, and Friday will be our Chapter 5 test. So if you have any questions about any of that, please reach out, let me know. But let's go ahead and get started. So if we are solving an exponential equation, okay, the first thing we are going to need to do is just our basic algebra. Now, when I say this, give me just a second. So we're going to do our basic algebra, and this will always be done first if there is anything that needs done. So when I say do basic algebra, I mean either add, subtract, multiply, or divide, depending on the situation. Okay, so if we look here at our problem here, 4 to the x minus 3 plus 7 equals 23. Our basic algebra in this case, we want to just subtract the 7 over. Okay, we want to get the exponential by itself. So now I have 4 to the x minus 3 will equal 16. In the same way here on this one, we'll subtract the 7. The only difference now is I have 4 to the x minus 3 equals 15. Okay, so from here, we have two different situations. So the difference is on the left side, since we have a 4 as our exponential, the base of our exponential, and this number is 16, we can get that to have the same base. Okay, so if you can, change to same base. Okay, the reason this is nice is it allows you not to really need a calculator. If you're able to do this, I think it can save you some time. Okay, so we have 4 to the x minus 3 equals 4 to the second. From here, we know then that I can cancel out both those 4's, and I am left with just x minus 3 equals 2. All I got to do is add the 3 to both sides, and we get x equals 5. So that is one option. If you are able to change the base, do it. I think that saves you a little time. It makes it pretty easy. However, sometimes we cannot, maybe you just can't come up with it, or maybe there isn't one. Okay, so if that is the case, you'll need to use your calculator, and we're going to use something we've already learned called our change of base formula. Now, the only difference is before, when we learned it, it was written in a different form. Okay, so if I would rewrite this in log form, I'll put this over to the side. Base stays base, so it'd be log of base 4 of 15. All that will equal that x minus 3. And then our answer was just the log of 15 divided by log of the base, which in our case is log of 4. Now, we're still going to do that. So it is the log of 15 divided by the log of 4. And whatever we get will be equal to x minus 3. However, in our case, so we don't have, if you want to rewrite it, you can. You can rewrite it like this every time. Or you can think about it, the new way to think about the change of base formula when you're dealing with an exponential is just the log of whatever the answer is, meaning whatever's on the other side of the equal sign here. So in our case, it was a 15, divided by still the log of your base. Remember, base is on the bottom. That is always the case. So in our case, our base was 4, so we put that on the bottom. Now, to solve this, we'll just use, let me clear this. So log of base 15, we'll close it, divided by log of 4. Remember, the reason this is called change of base is if you look, both of these now have a base of 10. The reason that's helpful is we can put that right into our calculator. Okay, so I do all that, I get 1.953. However, I'm not done. I have x minus 3 is what that equals, so let's add the 3 over. So I'll take my answer and do plus 3, and our final answer then will be x equals 4.953. All right. So once again, our two choices. You can change it to the same base, and the reason I recommend doing that is I think this was a little simpler. You don't have to use your calculator. You can just do it quickly. However, this way with the calculator will always work. So if you want, you can always use this method. Okay, you also sometimes will have to use this method when you can't come up with a number that's even. But what I recommend is take a look at it. If it takes you more than 3 or 4 seconds to come up with a base you could change it to, then don't waste your time. Just go over here and use the change of base method. Okay, so we look at this first one. First question, do we have to do any basic algebra? And I know there's a plus 1 up here, but that's in the exponent, so we don't have to deal with that. Okay, we can just leave that up there. And what we need to do now is we can use our change of base. So once again, let me point this out. What I'm about to write, you do not have to write. If it helps you, then you can rewrite it as log of base 2 of 7 equals 3x plus 1. And then from here, you can use the old method we used, which was log of 7 over log of 2, set that equal to 3x plus 1. That works, and you can definitely do that. However, we remember, hopefully, I wrote up here, it's just log of the answer divided by log of the base. So I don't need to rewrite this. I can just do the log of 7 divided by the log of the base, which in our case is 2. And whatever I get will be equal to 3x plus 1. Okay, so now I pull up my calculator and we do log of 7 divided by log of 3. Hit enter. I get this 1.771. Okay. Oops, I made a mistake. It's not log of 3. It's log of 7 divided by log of 2. Sorry about that. Okay, and I get 2.807. Now, from here, so 2.807, that will equal 3x plus 1. So from here, I'm just going to subtract 1, and then I'll divide by 3x, and our final answer, if we round, we will get x equals 0.602. Now, I did that by writing it out. However, one way you can do it that I think is easier is once we get our answer, then we said we have to subtract 1. So just think it through. Minus 1. Oops, I put 2 of them. Let me try that one more time. Minus 1. Okay, and then from here, divided by 3. And there we go, 0.602. So we get the same answer. Now this next one, once again, do any simple algebra. We just have our exponential, and this one has no x's, so we're good. Now we can rewrite it, and think about it. 1, 2, 3. If you can't come up to it before you count to like 3 or 4 or 5, just move on and do it the same way we did it on the original one. However, if you can, in our case, 1/8, we know it hopefully is the same as 2 to the negative third. And the reason this is easier, in my opinion, is now these 2's we can cancel out. And so from here, all we have to do is 2x minus 8 equals negative 3. We're going to add 8 to both sides, and that will result in 2x equaling 5. Divide by 2, and we get x equals 5 over 2. Okay, so example 3 here. Now I've got some simple algebra. You'll see at the front, 2 times 27 to the x plus 6. Since there's multiplication here, we got to do the opposite, which means we divide by 2. That'll cancel. Divide this by 2. I have 27 to the x plus 6 equals 9. Now from here, both 27 and 9, Once again, it's up to you, and if you can't come up with it, just solve it using your calculator, change the base formula. But if you can, this will save you a little time. 3 to the third, and the 9 is 3 to the second. So if I distribute that in, we get 3x plus 18 equals 2, because remember these 3's canceled. Okay, so from here, subtract 18, divide by 3, and we are done. Okay, so in the same way, on this next one, we got to start by adding the 5. We got to clean everything up. We should only have an exponential left when we go into change of base. So we'll have 3 to the 2x equals 45. Now, from here, since we've got a 3 here as an exponential, take a second. Can 3 go into the 45? So 3 to the third is 27. 3 to the fourth is 81. Nope, it doesn't work. So we're going to have to use change of base. So change of base tells us the log of the answer divided by the log of the base will equal our exponential there. So it'll equal that 2x. And now from here, all we have to do is get our calculator out. Let me move this so we can still see. And we'll do log of 45 divided by log of 3. We'll get our answer, and then since it equals 2x, we're going to need to divide that by 2. And my final answer, I get x to be 1.732. All right. Got a couple more to practice together. So this next one, example 5 here. Once again, 2 times 3 raised to the x plus 5 equals 162. So in our case here, we're going to want to start by dividing both sides by 2. So divided by 2, we get 3 to the x plus 5 equals 81. Now, think about it. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you get to 5 seconds and you haven't thought of it, just move on, use the calculator method. But in my case, I know that 81 is the same as 3 to the fourth. Okay, so I set that up, cross those out, and now I'm left with x plus 5 equals 4. One more move, minus 5, minus 5. We get x equals negative 1, and that is my final answer. All right, example 6 here. Once again, you're going to have to subtract 3. Subtract 3. So we have 7 to the 5x plus 4 equals 27. There is no way. 7 to the first is 7. 7 to the second is 49. There's no way to get it. So we need to rewrite this using change of base. So we're going to do log of 27 divided by log of 7. And that will equal 5x plus 4. So we'll do log of 27 divided by log of 7. I get my answer. Now, as you can see here, we would have to subtract 4 over. So I'm going to do that minus 4. And then whatever we had, we would need to divide by 5. So take divided by 5. And there's our answer. So x is going to equal negative 0.461. All right, just about done for the day. One final thing I want to talk about is this special case where what if it's an exponential and we have an e? So if you wanted to, you could do it exactly how you just did it up here. You could plug some things in, but there is a special case that I'm going to show you. And anytime we have e, so with e, you can use this button that only works for e. And That button is our ln button. Okay, remember the ln button, so we can use that instead. That is a special case. ln stands for our log of e. Okay, so if we would rewrite this, once again, we could do it the way we have been doing it, but whenever we have an e, this is the same as base stays base, so that'd be log of e of 18 equals x, and we know that log of e is the same as the 18, okay, ln of 18, which would equal x. So if I get my calculator out, right here, this button, ln of 18, I close it, and there's my answer. I get x to be 2.890. And this only can be done when it's an E. Okay, so remember, the ln key is built in. They built this in because this one shows up a lot in just the world. Okay, this is a common type of problem that we see a lot, so they wanted to make the natural log very easy to find. Now, if you wanted to, what I'm about to do, you don't have to write, but if you wanted to, we could have done it the old way. If we look back at this original problem, so e to the x equals 18, we could have wrote that as log of 18 divided by the log of e. Now, keep in mind, this is not log base e, this is log base 10 of e. Okay, so we could have rewritten that to equal x. Let me real quick show you. So if I did it this way, I would have to do log of 18 divided by log. I need to hit second ln to get that e. I'd raise it to the first. Do you see when I do that? I get 2.890. I get the same answer. The easier method, instead of doing that, is let's just do ln of 18. Okay, and we get that answer. Now we can only do that if it's e that's the base of our exponential. So if we look here, example 7, first we need to do our algebra. So let's do plus 2. And then we have e to the x plus 5. That will equal 52. Now remember, we can just do the ln of 52 equals that x plus 5. So now I go ln of 52. I find my answer, and then I just have that would equal x plus 5, so I need to subtract the 5 over. And our answer then, negative 1.049. And that is my final answer. All right, so our final one. Before we solve this, we need to divide both sides by 5. We need to get that e by itself. So now I'm going to have e to the 2x equals, now if you want, you could leave that as 446 over 5. That's fine. But I think it's easier just to do 446 divided by, 446 divided by 5. And we get 89.2, so I'm going to choose to write that. Now, even though we have a decimal, it's the same exact approach. We're going to say, because it's this e to the 2x, we can just write the ln of that 89.2. That will equal 2x. So we're going to use ln of 89.2, close that parentheses, hit enter. Then we have to divide that answer by 2, and I get 2.245 as my answer. So to wrap things up today, we have two situations, okay? After we solve our algebra problem, you can either change it to the same base, and when I say after I solve our algebra, sorry, what I meant is after you do the simple algebra step, you can either change to the same base, and if that is easy to find, I recommend doing that. It's a little simpler. If you can't come up with that in 5 seconds, then you should move on, and change of base formula is what you'll use. And remember, that means you're going to have to use your calculator, okay? You can't do this in your head. So, if you have any questions, please let me know. Hope you guys have a great day and a great Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.